Thank you, voice behind the curtain. Good evening and welcome to the College of Education's 9th annual Celebrating Excellence ceremony. For those of you who don't know me, I am Tabitha Butler and I am the Director of Development for the College of Education. And I have the coolest job on campus. I know you probably think that it's President Satterley, but it is definitely me. I get to connect with alumni and ISU supporters to our campus in a very meaningful way, and that looks different every single week. Some weeks it's inviting all of you out to a great event like this evening. Some weeks it's giving tours of our campus or our building. And some weeks it's listening to old college stories that always seem to somehow involve buddies, pizza, salad, and beer. And a lot of times, it's how our alumni and community members can support the next generation of students through scholarships. Just this last year, I've had the opportunity to work with 6 unique individuals to create scholarships for students that looked a lot like them when they came here to ISU. The first one was a gentleman who lost his father at a young age and was raised by a single mother who was a teacher. And it was important to him to give scholarships for single parents so that they could support their kids and have the same schedule too. Another is a retired special education teacher who is leaving us 1/3 of her estate to pay full tuition for future special education teachers. And yet another who is covering half tuition for a future teacher during their student teaching semester, which is the hardest financial semester for our student teachers because we ask them not to work. And yet another who is supporting graduate students for those who want to go on to become administrators and principals, and another supporting those who already have bachelor's degrees but have made the courageous decision to come back to school to become teachers. There are so many more that I could go on and on about tonight, many of you who are in the room this evening. And to that end, I want to say thank you to our generous donors, members of the ISU administration, friends of our College of Education, our esteemed alumni, and incredible students, faculty, and staff here at Idaho State. I thank you for your support and for joining us tonight. I am blessed to be in this role of working with our alumni and selfless donors in the honorable goal of helping our students succeed. We appreciate you joining us at this remarkable event to recognize the accomplishments of those who mean so much to our college. I'd like to welcome Dr. Jean McGivney-Burrell to the podium. Dr. McGivney-Burrell serves as our Dean for the College of Education.
Thank you, Tabitha. Good evening, faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, and of course the award winners for this evening and their guests who are either with us here tonight in person, which is lovely, or watching via live stream. This evening, we gather to honor those who have made considerable contributions to the College of Education or their profession, and we celebrate their accomplishments in the presence of friends, family, and colleagues. And we feel very lucky to be able to be here with you in person. It is so nice to do this in person. Before we start recognizing our awardees, I would like to take a moment to thank several people who have been working diligently to make tonight a reality. First and foremost, I want to recognize the efforts of our Director of Marketing and Communication. Abby, are you in here? Oh, there, yay, there you are. Yes. Abby took the lead on planning the ceremony while organizing our massive School District 25 lunch celebration and getting our magazine, The Bengal Education Review, out the door while juggling flaming sticks on a unicycle and smiling all the way. Well, not the fire and the unicycle, but still amazing, so thank you for that. I would like to thank the Celebrating Excellence Committee members who assisted Abby, including our Director of Development and tonight's MC, Tabitha Butler, our Systems Administrator, Facilities Guru, and Wizard of Oz this evening, Sheldon Harris, wherever you are, our Dean's Office Administrative Assistant and Award winner, Laura McRae, yes, whose prize for winning the award was helping to plan her own celebration. So you're welcome. And our faculty representatives, Suzanne Biesterfield, Patty Mortensen, Carla Judge, and Ajit Bhattarai. If you're here, just wave your hand, committee members. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I want to give a shout out to our amazing graduate assistant, Tyler O'Connor, who nearly caused me cardiac arrest in the lobby a few minutes ago, but did a good job getting everybody in here. Tyler, you played a strong supporting role in tonight's event, and for whom today is your last day of work in the College of Education. Thank you, Tyler, for everything you've done for the college this past year. We are going to miss you. I think there are a couple of 2021 Celebrating Excellence Award winners who did not get to benefit and enjoy an in-person reception, and I want to give them an opportunity to stand. I certainly saw Dr. Esther Natuli, who won the Faculty Excellence Award. And is Gabe Rodriguez here? Ah, Staff Excellence Award. Is anybody else an award winner from last year? Okay. Good, thank you. I also want to thank everybody who nominated individuals for this year's award. Taking the time to recognize someone's contributions not only benefits the recipient in letting them know how they are making a difference in the lives of others, but also brings positive attention to the work we are doing in the college and those connected to it, so thank you for that. And speaking of making a difference in the lives of others, I would like to acknowledge all of the faculty and staff in the College of Education. Would you please either stand, or if you're too tired at this point in the semester, just wave to let people know who you are. Come on. It's good. To each and every one of you, the work you do every day in your teaching and your research and your service to support, mentor, and inspire our students, and to help them achieve their personal, academic, and career goals is really the heart of what we're doing in the College of Education. Now, I know other deans say this, but I actually know I'm right when I say we have the best faculty and staff in the College of Education. And for those who need proof, I'll write a mathematical proof for you on a whiteboard in a few minutes, but just take my word, yes, round of applause for that. I would also like to thank some community members in attendance. Members of the Southeast Idaho Retired Educators Association, would you kindly stand or wave, whichever you're feeling comfortable doing? Yes. Thank you for your combined thousands of years of service to public education, probably more, your dedication to improving the lives of children and adolescents, and your support for all we do in the College of Education. We are so lucky to have you as our greatest champions. Finally, is Jean Haneke still here? Yes, good. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize community members in attendance who are doing incredible work to improve the lives of children in our community. Jean Haneke and others have worked so diligently during the past year to launch the Boys and Girls Club of Port Neuf Valley. As I understand it, just last week they met their fundraising goals, but I know Jean will still accept donations in the lobby afterwards, should you want to. As a result of your effort, Jean, and your colleagues, children in Pocatello will benefit from a safe place to learn and grow after school and have access to ongoing relationships with caring adult professionals, character development experiences, and most importantly, hope and opportunity. So thank you for that work. I have to say, I'm getting goosebumps being in the room with all of you. Tabitha and I have spent a lot of time on the road together the past year. And in our conversations, we always talk about how lucky we are to be able to work in this college, in this community, in this context of education, surrounded by people like all of you who wake up every day focused on improving the lives of others. On this night of celebrating excellence, I am grateful that we have so many things to celebrate in the College of Education. And while we don't have time to enumerate them all, I will highlight a few. First, our Albion Center for Professional Development, which has served more than 15,000 educators across the country, continues to generate great revenue for the College of Education. In addition, thanks to many of you in the room, our fiscal year 22 fundraising goals represent a four-fold increase over our yearly average from the past decade. And on Bengal Giving Day, need to brag a little bit, College of Education ranked second only to the College of Pharmacy for total dollars received. So thank you. And while these successes in and of themselves are impressive, the best part about it is the money raised. Virtually every dollar will go to student scholarships or to support faculty-led student engagement efforts focused on undergraduate research, applied learning projects, or study abroad opportunities, to name a few. This year, we also launched our redesigned fully online master's program in deaf education and special education. in addition to a new K-12 principal endorsement program. And our elementary education master's degree was ranked number 3 in the country for academic quality, affordability, and flexibility. In February, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of Title IX and hosted the 38th annual National Girl and Women's Sports Day during ISU's women's basketball game, where the 2022 Trailblazer Award was presented to College of Ed alumnus Shannon Whitmer for her leadership and mentorship to women in sport. Yes. And most recently, we are thrilled to be partnering with School District 25 on a new project called PACT, Paraprofessional to Certified Teacher, where we will provide up to $1 million in scholarships to support paraprofessionals who are interested in completing a college degree and earning teacher certification. Finally, and most importantly this evening, we are so happy to be able to celebrate tonight's award recipients and to do so with you in person. To each and every one of you who is receiving an award, thank you for all you do to teach, to mentor, to lead, and to inspire your students, your clients, your colleagues, and your community members. Thank you for being role models in your profession. You are wonderful ambassadors of the College of Education and Idaho State University. Congratulations again on this most well-deserved honor. And now, on to the main event of celebrating each of you. Gotta get my picture.
Thank you, Dr. McGivney-Burrell. To start us off this evening, we are honored and excited to announce our 2022 Professional Achievement Award for the College of Education as Dr. Robert W. Myers. Before I read you his incredible bio, I want to tell you how I met Bob. 10 years ago, I was just finishing my graduate degree, and my dream was to be a curator of any museum. And Bob fulfilled that dream by hiring me as the curator and director of the Bannock County Historical Museum here in Pocatello. Now, my education up to that point had covered research and exhibit installation, but nothing of running a small nonprofit. But as all retired educators do, they never stop teaching. Bob was an incredible mentor and supporter of everything I did. Like the great teacher he is, he saw my relentless ambition and never tried to dim it. He let me try, fail, succeed, and learn, including my very first attempt at fundraising. I will forever be grateful for all that he taught me, and yet he had a life before he met me. Bob is a Pocatello native and graduate of Pocatello High School, ISU, and BYU. He taught for 5 years at Pocatello High School before holding several administrative positions in the Pocatello-Chubbuck School District. Bob retired as assistant superintendent after 33 years. During his career, he served on numerous professional and community boards. He played a substantial leadership role in innovating programs for local and Idaho schools, including the development and implementation of programs such as the Idaho Financial Accounting Management and Reporting System for the Idaho school districts and the Idaho School Board Property Casualty Insurance Program for the Idaho school districts. He's also responsible for introducing computers for instruction in the classroom. One of my favorite stories that Bob tells that you can listen to on our KISU Inspiring Educators radio show hosted by Jean McGivney-Burrell is when he approached then Superintendent Rulon Ellis and told him that he thought computers were going to be the future of instruction. And to his surprise, Rulon approved him moving forward with this, but put him in charge of integrating the project in our school districts. And he says after all that time, he's glad he was right because a lot of money got invested in that. And if that's not enough, he also started the first dual enrollment program for the state of Idaho, where high school seniors and juniors were able to get college credit in high school, and that was the model used for the state of Idaho. Among other honors, he's been recognized and inducted into the Idaho Retired Educators Hall of Fame. He's been recognized by Pocatello High School as a distinguished alumni. He served in the U.S. Naval Reserves and is a 50-plus year national ski patroller, which is pretty tough at Pebble. Bob and his late wife, Lavoy V. Riley Myers, have 3 children, all of whom are graduates of ISU, as are their spouses, whom they met at ISU, and Bob and Lavoie, in recognition and appreciation for their opportunities afforded them by Idaho State University, established the Dr. Robert W. Bob and Lavoie V. Riley Myers Scholarship Endowment. This morning, Dr. Myers was recognized at the Professional Achievement Award breakfast and will be leading our 248 College of Education graduates in tomorrow's commencement ceremony. Please join me in congratulating Bob. Bob, if you would please stand. So we've started this off with a bang, and it's only going to get better from here on out. Our first award is the College of Education Staff Excellence Award. It is presented to a staff member of the Idaho State University College of Education who has had a significant impact in furthering the college's mission and vision by consistently going above and beyond the normal scope of their duties. This year, we are honored and excited to introduce Ms. Laura McCrae as the recipient of the Staff Excellence Award. Here to introduce Laura is Raylene Hauk, Administrative Assistant at the Kent Center for Student Success.
Yay, I didn't trip. Woo-hoo! Off to a good start. I have a picture of Laura getting her 5-year certificate a couple of weeks ago, and I wrote my speech on the inside of that. So I'm going to give that to her when we're done. So I didn't have to buy a card. Okay. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. So it's my pleasure to introduce this year's College of Education Staff Excellence Award winner for 2022. Laura came to ISU in 2016 and recently received her 5-year certificate and coffee mug at the Staff Appreciation Luncheon at the Sub. She's served as Administrative Assistant in the Dean's Office since June of 2019. However, you can find her everywhere. She's on campus, she's in the community, she's busy, busy, busy with everything. She volunteers with everything. If anybody needs anything done, she's there. She volunteers. She's done events at Holt Arena. She does things with Scouts. She does things at the Friends of the Library. Yeah, just go any place, anywhere, anytime. There she is. So in the College of Education, she performs her duties with unbounded positive energy and adds a personal touch by going to people's offices, talking face-to-face. We all remember face-to-face, right? Okay. So she's picking up reports, she's dropping off packages, she's inviting people to come up and have bagels on Friday in the Dean's office. Thank you very much. That's really nice. And she just makes everybody's day a little bit brighter. So when I thought about people that do above and beyond, that's definitely Laura. She's always someone who's willing to help. She's always someone who's willing to be involved. And she's always someone who has a positive attitude, a smile, and I just love her bubbly personality. That's the way I describe her. She's just a little bit of sunshine for everybody. So please join me in congratulating your 2022 Staff Excellence Award winner, Ms. Laura McCrae.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Raylene. Got to get emotional. I am so very humbled by a nomination for such a prestigious award as the Staff Excellence Award. I'm not sure how mere words can share my delight in receiving this award, but I'll do my best. Being the curious sort that I am, I had to look up the definition of excellence. It is the quality of being the very best at something. Human beings have an intrinsic desire to see excellence, and excellence is prized and rewarded. Since we all have our own idea of what the word excellence means, I thought I'd share a couple of very simple but perfect examples that would help me to explain mine. For those of you who know me, I love chocolate. So if I could have some chocolate right now, that would make for an excellent end of this day. An excellent activity that I really enjoy, especially during this long winter season, which I promise will be over soon, would be putting a puzzle together with some very good friends. I would define excellent company to be the people like you, those people who I get to share my days with. Since the college's mission is achieved through excellence in teaching, scholarship, and service, I'd have to say that my passion would be showing excellence through service. I thoroughly enjoy making a person's day by serving them and using my Sherlock approach of digging into what might be standing in their way in order to help them reach their goal. Well, we all have occasion to seek out someone else who knows what we don't know. I find it a privilege to share my gifts and talents with others in this way. In my mind, this is the excellence that I can offer, which seems simple enough, but apparently others think enough of what I take for granted that I do simply out of joy as excellence. I don't say these things lightly because I appreciate when I am treated with excellence by others. I know what a relief it is when I find someone who listens to me, acknowledges that I need their help, and not only acts like they know how to help me, but makes my day by solving my problems. An anonymous quote that a good friend posted on Facebook that I'm going to borrow here goes like this: "Never get tired of doing little things for others." And that's where, sometimes those little things occupy the biggest part of their hearts. And that's where I want to be. I feel that's where I'm at when I've helped someone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. For those of you who don't know, Laura is our chocolate pusher upstairs, and it's pretty fantastic for when you're having a bad or a great day. Our next award is the College of Education Faculty Excellence Award. It is presented to a faculty member at Idaho State University's College of Education who has made a significant impact furthering the college's mission and vision through service, teaching, and/or research. This year, we are honored and excited to introduce Dr. John Fitzpatrick as the recipient of the Faculty Excellence Award. Introducing Dr. Fitzpatrick is Dr. Carolyn Fari, Professor of Human Performance and Sports Studies.
Hello. Well, it is my distinct pleasure to announce and introduce the recipient of the 2022 Faculty Excellence Award, Dr. John Fitzpatrick. John came to ISU 18 years ago from the University of Chicago State. He was and one thing I do know is you're a graduate of Michigan State University. And as a graduate of Michigan State, he brought with him a unique background in sports psychology with a dash of teacher education preparedness mixed in. Without John, the Department of Human Performance and Sports Studies simply does not function. John is a broker of strength for all HPSS faculty and staff. For the past 10 years, he has dedicated his time and expertise to serve as our department chair. During this time, our program has seen incredible growth. Our curricula have been expanded, our faculty numbers have grown, and our positioning within both the College of Education and the university as a whole has been strengthened. John's leadership style is quiet and unassuming. He emits a calm presence even during the most strenuous of times. His support for his faculty members is unrelenting. John is an active servant in many other areas of the college and on campus. For 8 years, he was a valued member of the Athletics Advisory Board. He has also served valiantly on the university's Academic Standards Committee and on the College of Education Scholarship Committee. John has regularly sought out opportunities like this that focus on the student experience. He believes that faculty are at a university with the purpose of serving the students both in and out of the classroom. Through advising, mentoring, and sometimes just listening to student concerns, John knows faculty can have a profound impact on student satisfaction, retention, and success. John volunteers his time and expertise as a sports psychologist regularly to benefit our university's student athletes. He has engaged as a mental skills trainer with our student athletes in several programs. And he has also consulted with several of our Bengal coaches on ways they can maximize the athletic performance of their student athletes. John combines leadership and team building activities to improve group engagement, problem solving, and insight. The number of student athletes who have utilized and benefited from his services and guidance is profound. In the classroom, John is fantastic. Our students often comment on the value of the education they receive in John's classes, and John's curricular connections to the students' career aspirations are clear. In nearly 17 years at ISU, John has never been recognized for the extraordinary person and professional that he is. Tonight's that night. John, please come forward. Congratulations to our 2022 Faculty Excellence Award recipient.
Thank you. Wow. When you hear things about yourself like that, you're right, it is emotional. So I'll start off by thanking. Thank you to the committee for selecting me as the Faculty Excellence Awardee, to Smitty for your very kind words, and to my wife, Dawn. Without Dawn's encouragement to pursue my master's and my doctorate, I would not have the opportunity to be standing here as an awardee. She has been my rock and support through both good times and difficult times in my career and my life. Thank you, dear. Thank you. I am very honored to receive this award. My passion as a faculty member has always been in helping students. As Smitty said, I believe that faculty do have a responsibility to serve students in and out of the classroom. In my career at ISU, I have been a faculty member and had the opportunity to serve, as Smitty has said, as department chair, as well as on many student-centered committees. I've had the opportunity to work, again, as Smitty had said, with countless student athletes as a sports psychologist. And it has also been my very deep pleasure to work with the outstanding faculty and staff in the Department of Human Performance and Sports Studies for close to 20 years. The HPSS faculty and staff have always been highly focused on mentoring, advising, and going above and beyond to make students feel welcome and achieve success in both the classroom and in careers. Thank you to those faculty who are here and my faculty overall for making my job a lot easier. I am also deeply appreciative of the support of the College of Education is given to our department. As residents of Reed Gym, we are often painfully aware that many don't realize that there is academic space in the building. And the college leadership has always fought very hard, to keep that recognition alive that we are an academic unit, and also to the fight that recognize the value of the human performance and sports studies programs and have strongly advocated for our continued success. I'm very proud of what has been achieved in my time as department chair. I'm even prouder of the connections that I have made with students. Recently, I had the opportunity to receive physical therapy. When I walked into the PT clinic, I was greeted by a former student, the owner of the practice. I had forgotten that he was still in the area. On walking in, he reminded me that many years ago, he had visited my office very dissatisfied with the major and the department he had chosen initially. He was struggling and seeking other options that may help him in seeking a health-related field. After listening to his goals, we decided that change to exercise science would help him move forward in his career choice, physical therapy. And it did. This student now owns his own physical therapy practice, and now the student was my teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I have the great opportunity to sit with John on our scholarship committee, and I can see and get to see often how great of an advocate he is for his students on our committee. Our next award is the College of Education Young Alumnus Impact Award. It is presented to an alumnus of the Idaho State University College of Education who has graduated in the last 10 years and has achieved significant accomplishments since degree completion. This year, we are honored and excited to introduce Ms. Jessica Kearns as the recipient of this award. Here to introduce Jessica is Dr. Danny Moffett, Athletic Training Program Director and Professor of Athletic Training.
Jessica Kearns graduated in the second cohort of the athletic training program. Having grown up in the Boise Valley, she knew that she was going to move back after graduation. She found a job with the Boise School District and as an athletic trainer, and because of her year as a graduate teaching assistant at ISU, she was able to teach vocational education courses of health professions, medical terminology, and sports medicine. Over the past years, she has remained with the Boise School District as a teacher and athletic trainer, but is also an advisor to the Health Occupation Students of America and on the Idaho Executive Board for Future Healthcare Professionals, and was the secretary for 2 years. When her twins were born 2 years ago, she stepped down from the assistant athletic trainer position but worked PRN as an athletic trainer for St. Alphonsus Regional Hospital while remaining teaching and advising for HOSA. In August of 2019, Jess stepped into, or was maybe pushed into, the Governmental Affairs Committee as a co-chair for the Idaho Athletic Trainers Association. This was right before the Idaho legislative session where chiropractors were introducing legislation to be added to the state concussion law. Jess was a driving force in the state to get athletic trainers to contact their local legislators to block this bill because of its vagueness, which led to the unheard of 70+% of athletic trainers in Idaho reaching out. We had athletic trainers from every single district reach out. The National Athletic Trainers Association Governmental Affairs Committee awarded Idaho with the Dan Campbell Award for grassroots efforts in 2020, an effort that was led by Jess. In July of 2021, Jess stepped up again for the Idaho Athletic Trainers Association by becoming the state president. Though I'm no longer on the board, I'm aware of everything she's doing to increase the credibility of athletic trainers in Idaho. She's also doing something that really hasn't happened very much in this state, and that is she's making sure that the Eastern Idaho athletic trainers have a voice in decisions, which has always been made by those in the Boise Valley. Professionally, Jessica Kearns has done more in her short time than I have seen athletic trainers do over the course of their career. She was accepted to present her master's research project at the National Athletic Trainers Association as well as our district meeting. Her project was published in the Sport Journal. She has taken students to the HOSA Nationals. She is a strong advocate for athletic training, and she makes sure her high school classroom is decorated in Idaho State colors, pennants, and signs. I can't say enough of great things about her. She's a great representative of the MSAT program, the College of Education, and ISU. Sadly, even though she really tried to inform the people that she was receiving an award tonight, she was put on jury duty this week and chosen to be a juror. And she was told that she had to plan on being there until 4 o'clock today. So she was unable to come over and receive her award. So I will be accepting the award on her behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Our next award is the College of Education Alumni Teaching Excellence Award. It is presented to an alumnus of the Idaho State University College of Education's in recognition of outstanding achievement and contribution through their teaching. This year, we are honored and excited to announce and introduce Dr. Michael Morgan as the recipient of this award. Here to introduce Mr. Morgan is Dr. Corey Bennett, Professor of Mathematics Education in the Teaching and Educational Studies Department.
Good evening. It's so nice to see all of you here today. Mick, it's really nice to see you here today. So, I wrote this, and I'm just going to talk for a second. There are people you meet sometimes in your life, and people that you meet as teachers, and you're like, wow, how does that happen? How do they get to be how they are? And you sometimes are lost for words. Even for someone like myself, in this profession and what I do, it's very rare for me to meet the kind of person and the kind of educator that Mick Morgan is. And I've been honored and blessed to learn from him. And I cannot stress enough the kind of impact he has on our community, on our children, and the profession. A few years ago, when I first met Mick, he had just started into the profession, and he came to me with these ideas. I want to try this out. I want to do this. I'm like, wow, this is pretty amazing. But when you get into his classroom and you really get to see like what he does and how he does it, that's when you see it is almost like magic come to life. And the way he cares for his kids, the way he pushes those kids, he doesn't settle for second best in anything they do. And if you know the kinds of students he works with at Jefferson Elementary, you know he brings his A game every day because he can't afford not to. So from this work and him pushing me, I want to do this, I want to do this, we've had the opportunity, really I've had the opportunity to be with him as he has presented to thousands of teachers nationally and internationally, like no joke, thousands. He is a published author around an idea that he created and that he worked on, and I got to kind of be a part of. And that is read, that publication goes out to over 60,000 mathematics teachers in this country alone. Right here in little old Jefferson Elementary in Pocatello, Idaho. And one of his students, who's sitting in back here tonight, came because he wanted to see Mr. Morgan receive this. And he told me, this is the most loving teachers I've ever met, and he makes me want to be at school and be the kind of learner that grows and becomes something great. And that's the kind of person Mick Morgan is. So with that, Mick, please come on up.
Wow, where to even start? Knowing Corey, I mean, wow, I've never seen him get emotional like this, so that really tugs at my heartstrings as well. So wow. I just want to start off by thanking Idaho State University College of Education. It's really cool to be back here. It's nice to see familiar faces and be surrounded by some amazing people, educators who make such a powerful impact in our community and on future educators. That's just so cool to be back around here. I'm just so humbled, not only but what Corey said, but just the idea of being amongst you and being a part of this. It really means a lot. I never foresaw this, so it's pretty cool that it's a reality. So I just want to start off by thanking Dr. Corey Bennett, he's more than a mentor. He's become a great friend, and his teaching and everything that I've learned from him, it really has impacted me. We were actually having a conversation yesterday about a professor of his who he thinks of and hears his voice. Well, funny thing, I didn't tell you this, but when I'm teaching, I hear your voice in certain things and questions that I ask my students in dealing with mathematics. It's almost become a what would Corey say with this type thing. Or that's not a question he would ask. I need to rethink that a little bit. So yeah, your voice is definitely in my mind when I'm thinking about my kids and how to get them to, be rigorous in their thinking. So thank you to that. I'd also like to thank my caring and loving family, my beautiful wife, Whitney, and Evie. Hi, honey. It's weird seeing Daddy up on stage. A little bit. Okay. And Whitney, my beautiful wife, I love you, and I thank you for everything, for pushing me in the moments I didn't believe in myself and getting me to see that I can do hard things and that I can continue to do that. You've always been there to push me to be my best, and I thank you for that. And for the rest of my family, I love you all. Thank you for your support. Lastly, I want to dedicate this award to my students. They're really the reason I get up and do what I do, as we all are, right? And it's the ability to go out there and make a difference. It pushes us. And we talk about striving for excellence. It's one of our mantras every single day, and getting my kids to know that it's more than just words, it's action. It's taking accountability for yourself, and it's something that we can do. And I'm living proof that excellence and hard work and everything pays off. And as you know, teaching is not easy, but it brings so much joy, and it's one of the greatest things we can do. And lastly, I do want to say, Dr. Bennett, Corey, I will eventually get that master's. I'm going to work on it. I heard I had a doctorate. I don't know where that, but I'm going to eventually get on that master's. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mick. The College of Education Alumni Leadership Excellence Award is presented to an alumnus of the Idaho State University College of Education with at least 5 years of professional experience who has demonstrated exceptional leadership in their respective field. This year, I am honored and excited to introduce Mr. Chris Torgensen as the recipient of this award. Here to introduce Mr. Torgensen is Dr. Wendy Ruckty, Associate Professor in our Teaching and Educational Studies Department and Director of the MAT program.
It's really a pleasure for me to be able to introduce Chris. Chris has been an educator for over 30 years, and he currently serves as the principal at the J.R. Simplot Elementary School in American Falls School District. He started his career as a middle school math and science teacher, worked in both Blackfoot and Soda Springs, and then he's also been a principal in Arco and Soda Springs. So I was able to get to know Chris in 2018, initially through our shared attendance at a statewide project-based learning workshop. He attended there with his STEM leadership team, and then he asked for help implementing project-based learning at J.R. Simplot Elementary School. Project-based learning, if you don't know, is a teaching method that students learn actively. They engage in real-world and personally meaningful projects, and it involves integrating all subject areas. So I've worked with a lot of administrators and a lot of teachers throughout my career, and I knew that there were certain conditions that needed to be in place in order to be successful in any big initiative in a school. Implementing STEM-based, project-based learning is no different. So before I started working with Chris's school in 2019, I talked to Chris and I told him or asked him about these conditions that I felt like needed to be there in order to be successful. So things like including time in the schedule for teachers to do the work, scheduled professional development days, a budget for this project. And most of all, I wanted him to be able to commit to not just one day of professional development, not just a sit and get or even a one-year plan, which we're often asked to do. But what I really wanted to see was a commitment of 3 to 5 years. I really wasn't sure what the answer would be when I asked for these different conditions, but immediately he agreed to everything, and in fact had almost everything already in place, and he committed to being able to try to implement this really great teaching method throughout the school. And I'm really happy to say that a few months ago, they received, at the J.R. Stemplot Elementary School, or intermediate school, they received recognition for the school. They were awarded STEM school certification. And the Idaho STEM school designation is part of Idaho Code, and it is designated to provide recognition for schools or programs that provide high-quality, interdisciplinary, multi-grade STEM education based on these very stringent criteria. This is a really notable accomplishment for any school in any time, but it's extremely impressive to have accomplished this during a pandemic, which involved this abrupt change, as most of you know, to remote teaching and learning, and then followed by some of the most difficult years for teachers after returning to face-to-face learning. And every teacher that I talked to felt that Chris both supported and also pushed them in just the right amount of ways during this really difficult time. Even as an administrator, I see him in a very hands-on role with his students. He regularly supports and meets with his STEM ambassadors, which are the student leadership team. He teaches classes in the makerspace, helping both teachers and students learn new and innovative technologies. He reaches out to community partners and has created several strong, mutually supportive relationships with industries and helps to work with parents and partners within the school. He manages any difficult relationships with ease with parents. He may not think that, but I see it. And he turns those really into opportunities for growth and better communication. He regularly holds family night activities, including math nights, STEM nights, and other activities that are meant for fun and helping to get to know families, all in a school with a very high percentage of students and families that live in poverty. I have found Chris to be one of the most committed educators, and I am so happy that I've had the opportunity to work together with him to be able to support the students in his school. So Chris, if you want to come up.
I'd like to thank Dr. Rucky for that, for the nomination and for the time and effort she's put into our school. I'd also like to thank the College of Education for their work in preparing our next generation of teachers. I've been doing this for 36 years. I've taught 4th through 8th grade. I've worked in several different school districts. I've been an elementary principal for 29 years. And during my time as an elementary principal, I've had the unique opportunity of opening 2 new schools in American Falls, no less. The American Falls Intermediate School We ran that for 17 years, and I was the only principal it'll ever have. And so then we tore that school down and opened the J.R. Simplot Elementary School. And I've been fortunate in American Falls to have the support to be able to push my dream as an administrator. I've always had the support of the administration to do that. And Mr. Morgan was a perfect segue for what I wanted to talk about because, you know, over the years I've seen we can teach teachers classroom skills, the science of education. We can teach them how to plan lessons and deliver lessons. But there's one factor that we can't teach a teacher, and that's that wow factor. And I've noticed that the truly great teachers, from my elementary to college professors, are those teachers that can actually have a real relationship with their students, and their students know it. My superintendent, Randy Jensen, told me that one of the favorite questions he likes to ask in interviews is, how important is it for kids to like you? And the best answer I ever got was, it's not so important that they like me, it's important that they know I like them. And that's what we need to be as educators, is so the kids know that we like them and we care about them, we want them in our classes. About this time of year, I start getting parents calling up and asking to request teachers for the next year for their students. And it's super hard as an administrator to honor parent requests because of all the ways we have to sort kids and put them in classes. But I've started telling them, if you'll write me like a short paragraph on why you really want to do this, then we'll see what we can do. As I look through those parent requests, it's amazing because it all boils down to one thing. Parents want their kids in a class where they're loved by their teacher. And when you put that all aside, that's what it comes down to. And that's something we can't teach. I've done a lot of research lately in trauma in children. And we all know how trauma affects children, their learning. But some of the research that's come out fairly recently is that trauma also affects adults, because when these children grow up to be adults, there's some serious physical and emotional diseases that happen because of this trauma. But one of the biggest mitigating factors is if that child has an adult, a caring adult, that will step up and develop a relationship with them. And so, unfortunately, in these days, a lot of time it's the classroom teacher that has to do this. So we have a whole bunch of teachers out there who are dealing with their own lives, their own traumas, their own families, and they're coming to school every day realizing they literally may be the lifesaver for some children in their class. That puts teachers, a huge burden on teachers, and I'm really grateful that I work with teachers that are up to that task, that are willing to take that responsibility and realize those children, they may be that child's anchor. It may be the one that saves their life. Part of my, Dr. Recti kind of mentioned this, but I make an effort to get a chunk of time, put aside a chunk of time every single day to work with children. Being the fun part of my job, or what keeps me going, is not the administrative stuff, believe me. That's not fun. But the fun I have is to see those children get so excited when they come to that makerspace and they're building something, they're cutting something out the laser, or they're 3D printing something. That gets me to the next day. What makes me want to go back again. I'm grateful I've had all those opportunities for the years to do that, to work with children, and to be a leader and to be an educator. I'm grateful for the leaders I've had. I've got 2 former superintendents in the room, which I really appreciate the mentoring they've given me, and I'm really grateful for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Torgensen. The College of Education Bengal Partner Award is presented in recognition of an individual who has demonstrated exceptional service at Idaho State University's College of Education. Services may include supportive activities, volunteer service through participation on college committees, or my personal favorite, fundraising. This year, we are honored and excited to introduce Dr. Karen Appleby as our recipient of this award. Ms. Elaine Foster, Professor of Human Performance and Sports Studies Department, was unable to attend tonight's event. Introducing Dr. Appleby on behalf of Elaine Foster is Dr. Carolyn Fari, Professor of Human Performance and Sports Studies.
Okay, this is 80% Elaine, 20% Smitty on this. Give credit where credit is due. First part is me. 18 and a half years ago, I had the honor of hosting a job candidate for a sports management faculty position we were hiring in our college. The candidate was from Indianapolis by way of the University of Tennessee, and that had me all excited because I was a huge, and still am, a huge Tennessee Vols fan. So I still remember very vividly sitting across a table one of those mornings from her and her husband Sam at Perkins Restaurant. And we were talking about all of the things of giving him the spiel about how Pocatello was perfect for a young, physically active couple with like to ride bikes and run and doing all of these things. And just the impression was really clear on me. Yeah, she was enormously qualified for the job with extensive experience in sports psychology in particular. But her resume only told a fraction of the story. This was a person who was incredibly engaging and energetic, charismatic, really. She was the kind of person that just makes you want to smile and be a better person yourself. And that was only in 1 hour at breakfast at Perkins. Now, she impacted everyone in our department that same way on her few days here in Pocatello. And since that time, we were lucky enough that she chose us. Since that time, she has continued to do that throughout her remarkable career here at Idaho State. The Bengal Partner Award is presented annually to someone who has demonstrated exceptional service to Idaho State University's College of Education. Dr. Karen Appleby is the epitome of a Bengal partner. Her impact on our Department of Human Performance and Sports Studies, on the College of Education, and on the entire university itself is nothing short of incredible. And it has been consistent over each of the past 18 years. As a teacher, Dr. Appleby is distinguished, indeed, particularly benefiting students in the Human Performance and Sports Studies department. Her impact on students has been nothing short of profound. I cannot begin to tell you the number of students who cite Dr. Appleby as the single most influential person in their lives. Her students respect her, and she respects them. And through that respect, she inspires them to reach their full potential. As a colleague, Karen is a servant leader. She has served on numerous committees and facilitated and supported research engagements within the college. A particular note is her leadership of the College of Education as our interim dean for 2 years. She has also been instrumental in the growth of our college, elevating our stature both on campus and throughout the state. Her outgoing and positive spirit resonated within our college. As one colleague said, Karen is one of the most amazing women I have ever had the privilege to work with and for. As a higher education professional, Dr. Appleby is an intrepid advocate. She deeply values the mission of higher education and strives to continue to elevate ISU. Her work spearheading and directing the Program for Instructional Effectiveness, or PI as we call it here on campus, demonstrates her continued commitment to the mission of the College of Education. As our interim provost, Karen has faced innumerable challenges, and she has embraced this role with the same kind of professionalism and grace that we have all come to know over the last 18 years. As a human, Karen Appleby is honest, considerate, and caring. I am extremely grateful to call her a dear friend, and I'm pretty sure every other person in this room who knows Karen feels the exact same way. The College of Education has benefited tremendously from this honest, considerate, caring, distinguished servant leader advocate. I am confident that no matter where Dr. Appleby's future office may be on campus, she will always be a Bengal and she will always be a proponent of our College of Education. So thank you, Karen, and congratulations.
hard to smile for a picture when you're starting to cry. So thank you so much, Smitty. And it's interesting because my husband Sam is here with me tonight, and he squeezed my hand as you were telling the story about breakfast, because we both distinctly remember that day. And I actually remember thinking the exact same things about you, and you are one of the big reasons why we decided to come to ISU, so thank you for everything. I am honored and very humbled to be with you this evening to receive the Bengal Partner Award. And first, I would like to congratulate all of the other honorees who I have shared this stage with tonight. I'm so impressed with all of your accomplishments and your accolades and everything that you're doing in the community for your students and for ISU. I would also like to thank Dean McGivney Burrell, the selection committee, and all of those involved in planning and organizing the event tonight. It's been a very special evening for all of us. Getting this award is incredibly meaningful to me because I know there are many people, many of whom are sitting among us tonight in this audience, who are equally, if not more deserving of this award. So I would also like to extend my gratitude to you all who have served as steadfast friends and unwavering partners of the College of Education and ISU. And I'd like to give you all a round of applause. There are a few other folks in the audience tonight who I would also like to thank, who have been my support network throughout my career. I wouldn't be here tonight, literally, not here on this campus, on this stage, living in this beautiful city, without my dear friends, Ron Waters and Kathy Daly. Ron was the chair of the search committee who hired me 18 years ago. He believed in me and gave me a chance to make a difference here at ISU. Ron and Kathy have supported me throughout my entire career. They have been our family from the beginning of this journey, so I want to thank you both so much for everything you've done for me. I would like to thank my devoted and dear friends, Elaine, Catherine, and Smitty, all of whom I get to work with, play with, ski with, triathlon with, and laugh with. Thank you for bringing me coffee, scooping me up for lunch every once in a while, making crazy ideas come to fruition, like taking 10 students to the London Olympics in 2012, which I'm not sure whose idea that was, but I'm really glad that's over with. So, but we did it. And for always reminding me to have a little bit of fun. To my close colleagues in the College of Education, all of you here tonight, especially Mark Neal, Karen Wilson-Scott, and Stacy Phelan, thank you for your support, for sharing your knowledge with me, and helping me in ways that I will never forget. To the Department of Human Performance and Sports Studies, Smitty, Colby, Elaine, April, Howard, Jong, Michael, Carla, Shad, Danny, and John, who I am ecstatic to be sharing the stage with this evening, and thank you for all of your wonderful leadership. I've loved being a faculty member in your department. Thank you for being my work family. And of course, to my awesome husband, Sam, who is amazing in so many ways. Sam, you are quite simply my most favorite person ever. Thank you for following me on all of my crazy adventures, especially the one 18 years ago that took us 2,000 miles away from home to our new home in Idaho and ISU. Being honored with this award that recognizes someone who demonstrated service to the college is in some ways ironic to me. Ironic because it is actually the College of Education that has provided me with the opportunities I've had to serve. Without the support and encouragement of my faculty colleagues in the college and the college leadership over the years, I would have not been able to put on events such as National Girls and Women's in Sports Day, take my students to present their research at their first national conferences, teach outstanding and successful students like Jessica Kearns, who I'm so sad couldn't be here tonight because I really wanted to see those twins, connect with alumni of the college like my good friend Bob Myers, work with amazing and kind people like Laura McCrae and John Fitzpatrick, learn from the outstanding research of my colleagues like Derek Gerber, and help students like Chris Torgeson and Michael Morgan go out and be the positive change makers in the lives of our Idaho kids. My experiences in the College of Education have helped me develop the skills to get involved in leadership at the university level and help to be just a small part of the legacy that is ISU. I could not be more proud to be a Bengal, but I am even more proud to call the College of Education at ISU my home. Thank you so much to everyone here. Thank you for honoring me with this award, and thank you for believing in me.
Before our final award and remarks from Jean, I want to thank you all for bearing with me as my first time as MC this evening, and for the honor that it's been to let you know how wonderful our amazing College of Education is. Our final award is the Peter C. Cole William H. McGuffey Prize in Excellence in Educational Research. This is the most prestigious award that is bestowed by the College of Education, specifically for doctoral students. This year, the graduate committee selected Dr. Lance Derek Gerber as the Cole McGuffey Award recipient. Derek Gerber received his Bachelor of Science in the Health and Human Performance degree from Brigham Young University and a Master's of Physical Therapy degree from U.S. Army Baylor University. At Baylor, he also earned his Doctor of Physical Therapy. In 2021, Derek received a doctoral degree in educational leadership with an emphasis in higher education administration from Idaho State University. Derek joined the Doctor of Physical Therapy faculty at Idaho State University in 2013. He served as a physical therapy and occupational therapy clinic director and is currently the physical therapy program director and interim chair of the physical therapy department. When Derek isn't at ISU, he spends most of his free time with his wife and 5 children in the community and at church activities and enjoys and strives to learn more about effective leadership. Congratulations and welcome, Dr. Gerber.
So when I looked at the agenda for today, I saw that I was after Dr. Appleby. I'm kind of like, why? And I think you all know why. She's very difficult to follow, so thank you for your great words. I do like to thank Dr. Fitzpatrick for bringing in PT already into this event. Made me feel a lot more welcome, so that was great. Thank you, Dean McGivney Burrell, College of Education faculty and staff, and especially those who work with the doctoral programs in educational leadership. My degree has provided many opportunities and opened doors. I'm very humbled to have been nominated and selected for this prestigious award. I'm a physical therapist, as you know, by trade, who entered higher education to help future therapists to exceed my knowledge and training as the profession evolves. I often tell my students that it is my goal for them to exceed my skill and ability. 6 years ago, when I entered my first class at ISU, Dr. Alan France, History of Higher Education class, I would have laughed had someone told me that I'd be standing in front of you today. Although it was in this class that I learned the words Lehrfreiheit and Lernfreiheit, and a few other German words, as you can imagine from Dr. France. It is on the shoulders of Dr. France, Dr. Watkins, Dr. Wagner, and support of my colleagues in physical therapy, the department, and others who I give sincere credit. I must also recognize my wife, Teresa, our 5 children, and the example from my father, who taught applied psychology at Eastern Washington University from the time I was born until retiring in the early 2000s. I can honestly say I have been in therapy my whole life. My father is probably the wisest man that I know, and unfortunately, he stopped telling me what to do many years ago, and instead realized it was time for me to make my own choices, and often ended advice-seeking sessions with, well, that's a difficult choice you get to make. I am grateful to Peter and Nancy Cole, and I'm humbled to receive an award bearing their name after recognizing all that they have given and continue to give to this university. Their contributions are impressive. I thank my dissertation committee, Dr. Wagner, Dr. Appleby, Dr. Cater, Dr. Sanchez. Your guidance was crucial. So I guess now we get to talk about the dissertation a little bit. So we all know COVID came. I will assume that everyone had something in their life disrupted. I was in the final proposal stage for my dissertation project in spring of 2019. COVID rendered that project unfeasible. The COVID disruption altered my dissertation, but it presented a better opportunity. The title of my dissertation was The Impact of Changing Distance Learning Delivery Formats in Physical Therapy Professional Education. Distance learning technologies are here to stay. There is much internal and external pressure to utilize these technologies in higher education. There are many good reasons to use technology and others that maybe should be rethought. Unfortunately, some technologies are adopted prior to their showing their value and showing their effectiveness. That is the case with many distance education formats. Evidence that is present usually compares technology with, especially distance technologies, with face-to-face methods, but not from switching two different distance learning formats in physical therapy. And that's what we had to do. In 2018, the ISU Doctor of Physical Therapy program expanded to Meridian. All content, didactic and laboratory, was shifted to be taught via synchronous video conferencing between the two distance-separated campuses. With COVID, like many other programs, we had to move to more of a hybrid format of instruction. In this format, the didactic content was covered first, and primarily synchronously or with recorded lectures to distance-separated students to their homes. Crucial hands-on lab content, completely necessary for physical therapy, was put off until the students were able to come together and study on campus in the labs. Both the synchronous video conferencing model and the hybrid models are not new to physical therapy, but they're still very rare. Currently, there's only about 6 or 7 of each of these models in physical therapy among the more than 250 programs in the United States. The primary research question for this dissertation was twofold. Basically, it's the same question, just substitute student and faculty. What are the student and faculty perspectives of the impact of switching from synchronous video conferencing to the hybrid format in a Doctor of Physical Therapy program? Dr. Richard Clark is credited with a theory that emphasized that the medium used for education is merely the vehicle for transporting the information. An analogy that is often used is that the nutrition from your food is not determined by whether it's transferred by a van, a box truck, or a car. Nutrition is from the food. So similarly, it is what the lesson itself teaches that dictates learning, whether it be William H. McGuffey's readers or broadcast through video conferencing. In my study, it was assumed that the educational achievement would be the same in the two models. I chose a case study design bounded by the time of COVID restriction and with a single cohort of students. The data collected for this investigation included a statement of agreement survey sent to all students in the first year cohort. These students had experienced synchronous video conferencing for a semester and a half, and then the more hybrid model for a semester and a half at the time of data collection. In addition, a semi-standardized interview was conducted with a reflective proportion of the students and with the faculty who taught those courses. Interviewers from outside of the department were utilized to avoid any influence or perception of a power dynamic from interviewees. So what was found? The primary and most important perceived impacts felt by the students were that they did not feel that the change would have a negative effect on their overall education, nor on their overall career potential. They were appreciative of being able to continue their education without delay, and not every program in America could do that. Some delayed, some had graduations delayed, lots of things, and we were lucky to be able to do that. Although these overall impacts were very positive, there were a couple of things that were telling. The most significant impact was the disconnect of didactic content and practical content. Students felt that the delay of having the practical hands-on content from the didactic that we started with decreased the ability to make proper connections and solidify the learning of this didactic and practical skills. Despite this challenge, students felt that this would be overcome as they continued in the program, but this was a predominant and concerning feeling from the students. Another impact, interaction between classmates had decreased, obviously. especially with the same campus students. So the students in Pocatello felt that they were distant from the ones in Pocatello. However, as everyone was on the Zoom screen together and class groups were mixed between campuses, the students felt more entire cohort unity with less inter-campus competition that was felt previously. Some felt that they would actually be more resilient, having gone through the difficulty of changing formats. And some even saw the benefit to their future career by being more savvy with distance technologies that could translate into future telemedicine opportunities. When considering faculty perspectives, faculty also felt a decrease in and missed interacting with students. But similar to the students, they felt an increased interaction and relation with the distance campus students. This was primarily a result of seeing them individually on the Zoom screen, the Zoom tiles, with all their names. So they actually learned the names of the distance site lots faster. Whereas most of the time in the synchronous video conferencing, they're seeing one screen with the whole class. Like I'm seeing all you today. I have no idea what your names are. I know some of you. Faculty felt also that they were forced to increase their individual preparation for class and felt their instruction may have increased in quality due to this. So through learning the perceived impacts of the students and faculty, the following lessons or considerations should be emphasized in distance education. It is important to synchronize didactic and hands-on practical content. This builds connection, and methods for improving these connections are imperative for learning in a hands-on profession. A second emphasis is that students and faculty value interaction. Distance models should investigate methods to foster genuine interaction. This is true both in the synchronous video conferencing and hybrid models. An important finding was that moving to distance education is not simply doing what has been done face-to-face and putting it on a screen. Educators must be prepared for technology disruption, for working for increased engagement, and they may need to streamline their content. As this study focused on perceived impacts, future investigations should focus on the actual impact of the change. This impact can be measured by the results of the National Board Examination or through employer surveys. These will inform investigators of the impact, but also if the student perceptions were actually correct. Other possible investigations that stem from the results of this dissertation could involve evaluating the effectiveness and benefits of cross-campus groupings compared to those of same campus groupings. Limitations are always present. Limitations of this study include the lack of generalization in the study design. Also, it was backyard research, but steps were taken to work to decrease investigator influence on the results by having the outside interviewers. As this investigation was aimed to learn perspectives and not to form theory or process, these limitations were minimal to the results. In conclusion, switching distance learning formats in response to COVID-19 restrictions was perceived as being successful by students and faculty of the ISU Doctor of Physical Therapy program. There was no perceived decrease in overall education or career potential. This supports Clark's theory of instructional design as students learn and achieved despite the change of vehicle. Lessons were learned that have and will continue to inform our faculty in building interaction, cross-campus unity, and emphasis on hands-on skill connection with didactic content. According to Garrison et al., it is important to strike a balance to foster learning in a digital environment in what they termed a community of inquiry. They cited that a balance of the teaching presence, the social presence, and the cognitive presence is crucial to the educational experience and environment. Each of these presences were reflected in the perceptions of the students and instructors in this dissertation. All are together crucial. None can be omitted. When considering possible alluring technological advances in education, the effects the new technology has on each of these presences, again, teaching presence, social presence, and cognitive presence, must be considered. It is not merely just doing face-to-face on a screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Well, we're almost done. Thank you for your patience. There is one final award that was intentionally left off the program because we wanted it to be a surprise. This award, which is a new award, is given at the discretion of the dean in recognition of outstanding service to and leadership in the College of Education. I am honored and pleased to say that the inaugural recipient of this award is Associate Dean Dr. Mark Neal, who, after 18 years of yeah, you can woo, that's good. Who, after 18 years of loyal service to the College of Education, has decided to ride his brand new zero-turn lawnmower off into the sunset and retire. As I said in our last meeting, Mark, you have been an indispensable sounding board and a trusted advisor in my 2 years as dean. Your perspective and sense of humor have helped me get through the more challenging days. I want you to know how much I appreciate you, and I'm going to miss you when you're gone. But as I said before, I know where you live, and I will find you. Here to present the award to you is your dear friend and colleague and our interim Vice President of Academic Affairs and Provost, Dr. Karen Appleby.
Good. Well, I am so excited to be here tonight to celebrate my good friend and colleague, Dr. Mark Neal, and provide my thoughts on why he is such a well-deserving recipient of the inaugural Dean's Excellence in Service Award. Mark and I started at ISU in the same year, 2004. I was fresh out of my doctoral program. You've heard all these stories about me tonight, but this is something about how Mark put me at ease when I first got here. Fresh out of my doctoral program, brand new to being a faculty member, and had spent a total of 8 days in Idaho. And he might not remember this, but it was at new faculty orientation. Mark came right up to me, introduced himself, welcomed me to Idaho, and said, "I'm so excited that we're going to be colleagues." I learned over the years that Mark is adept at sensing when someone might be a little bit hesitant and will try to immediately put them at ease, whether that is with a story, a kind word, or just reaching out to make sure that you feel welcomed. I needed that, particularly at that moment in my life, and I will forever be grateful to Mark for helping make that day and my transition to my career just a bit easier. Over the years, Mark and I did indeed become very good friends and colleagues. But through working with Mark, he became more to me than that. He became my mentor. I would sit on dissertation committees with Mark, and I would notice how with students, he would always provide critical commentary followed with a note of kindness or encouragement. In faculty meetings, he didn't shy away from discussing tough topics because sometimes faculty don't always agree with each other, right? But he would do so, again, with kindness and with respect for his colleagues. And there is still no one on campus that I would trust more to edit any document that I ever wrote than Mark Neal. This mentorship, however, was no more apparent and appreciated than when we served in the College of Education Dean's office together. As someone outside of the K-12 world, that is me, Mark helped me get to know all of the superintendents, some of whom who are here tonight and who have become good friends of mine. He networked me with our State Department of Education colleagues. He supported me through State Board of Education meetings, and he helped me develop a framework for understanding our K-12 challenges and opportunities in Idaho. Mark also helped me develop my leadership skills. I have always appreciated and tried to emulate Mark's direct and clear communication style, his honesty, and his authenticity. I learned from Mark that while as leaders you often find yourself doing very hard things, you should never lose your sense of humor. You should always allow yourself to laugh, mostly at yourself, right? In fact, I distinctly remember a trip over to Boise with Mark where I did not stop laughing for the entire 3 hours because Mark was in full sales storytelling mode, and we all know that Mark can tell a darn good story. I learned from Mark that while, of course, family, and I'm so happy to meet his beautiful family tonight, always come first, you still can have a family at work, and they are pretty darn important too. I want to thank Mark for all of the leadership he has provided for the university and for the College of Education. He has stepped up in so many ways when the university has been in need of a steady and trusted leader. Specifically for the college, Mark has helped the college not just survive, but to thrive during very difficult times. Mark, thank you so much for being part of my work family, and congratulations on this award. There is no one more deserving than you. Thank you for everything.
Well, this is more than a surprise. And if some of you felt humbled tonight, I know exactly how you felt. I'm much more humbled. And as I said a week or two ago in our faculty meeting, I'm the luckiest guy on the earth. And any success that I've ever had any part of or been able to enjoy is because of the good fortune I've had of the excellent people who have surrounded me. You have all made me look better. To my beautiful, loving wife, Karen, my longest surviving friend and inspiration, my sister, Nina, and her husband, Tom. My motivation, my daughter, Nicole, her brother, who's not here, her husband, Simon, and my new motivations, my grandchildren, one of which is here tonight, Kennison, and of course to my many colleagues, Patty and Jeff and Ron, and all the rest of you who have worked in the College of Education. Thank you. I'm so humbled and so proud of all of you. Thank you.
I'm so glad we got you, Mark. And more tissues next time. We need more tissues next time. Okay, there are no more surprises. I just want to say thank you again for joining us this evening to recognize and celebrate these outstanding individuals. I was touched by every single one of you and the words you spoke, so thank you for that. What a wonderful way to wrap up this academic year after a long couple of years of COVID. Please join me in giving one last round of applause to the award winners. I'm going to ask the award recipients to stay around one moment longer for a group photo up front, and for everybody else, please go and enjoy the food and drinks. You were patient in this extended ceremony, and I'd love to talk with you when this is all over. But thank you so much. Have a great night. Awesome job. Yes. It's good.